Hello everyone. Native English Video Dictionary.
Hi, my name is Elisa and I am a native English speaker from the US. This video is made exclusively for English Video Dictionary. So let's talk about the word interlocutor. So this is someone who takes part in a conversation and they are representing someone other than themselves in that conversation. So they're having the conversation, but they're not representing themselves, they're representing somebody else. So this could be someone like a diplomat. So countries have an ambassador, and ambassadors will often go on behalf of their country and talk to probably another interlocutor who is representing the other country. So it's not one country talking to another country, it's a country's representative talking to another country's representative. So the representatives are the interlocutors, they're the go-betweens. So perhaps someone who is a diplomat might say something like, "This is so exciting, this is the first time I've ever been an interlocutor in a big negotiation before." This could also be a negotiator. So perhaps you're in a business deal or really anything where you're negotiating. But let's say you're in a business deal and maybe as a business person, you yourself are not the best negotiator. So maybe you hire a negotiator, you hire an interlocutor to represent you in the negotiation. And so that interlocutor would go to the negotiation meeting and they would represent you and get you the best deal. A real estate agent is somebody who plays this role. So instead of you negotiating to buy or sell a house yourself, you have a real estate agent, an interlocutor who does it for you. So you might say something like, "My real estate agent was an amazing interlocutor. They got me a great deal." A lawyer is also an example of an interlocutor. This is somebody who represents you. They make an argument on your behalf. So you might say, "I need a lawyer who is an incredible interlocutor." You're always going to be calling the person an interlocutor because it is a noun. It is someone that you're describing. It's kind of like someone's job. It's who they are in this moment, like a salesperson. So this is how you're always going to kind of be using this word. You're going to be calling someone an interlocutor. This can be something that's good or bad. I think in all of the cases that I've mentioned so far, I would consider that to be a positive role that the person is playing. However, you could also be an unwanted interlocutor. Have you ever had a conversation with a friend and someone just kind of like butts in and they start giving your perspective, they start trying to make your point for you? That person is also an interlocutor. Just because you didn't ask them to be one and perhaps you don't want them to be one doesn't mean that they're not an interlocutor. They're trying to represent you. So you can definitely have someone who is an unwanted interlocutor. They just kind of butt in on the conversation. So an interlocutor can be someone who's hired for this role, which is usually how this word is used. Usually this word is used in a very formal, you're not going to hear me say that a lot, but then a kind of a formal capacity, kind of in the business world or the diplomatic world. That's really where you're going to hear this word used. You wouldn't really refer to a friend that's representing you in an argument with another friend as an interlocutor. That would be a little, I don't know, it's a little too weird because an interlocutor is like a really serious position. So maybe serious is better than the word formal, but this is like this is like a real job. This is a really serious position that someone's going to have, and so it's going to be used in that way. In the case of something more casual, even like in the case of a real estate agent, you're more likely to hear someone say, "This is my representative," or "This is the person representing me." You would even hear that in the law capacity. So just a normal person was, I don't know, maybe they hired a lawyer to help them fight a speeding ticket or something like that. The lawyer would be representing them. They would be their representative. That's the more casual way, or not even casual, maybe the more normal or more used way of saying this. But if you're like a diplomat and it's like a really serious, world threatening conversation that you're having, then maybe you would use interlocutor. Some synonyms for this word are interviewer, speaker, interrogator, middleman. As far as antonyms go, there's not necessarily an exact antonym, but the interlocutor is the person who's representing someone in this situation. So basically everybody else is the opposite. So the person listening, if you just have like a listener, maybe they're eavesdropping, maybe they're not supposed to be listening, or maybe they actually are. They're listening on purpose. Perhaps they're taking notes. They're the reporter, like a court reporter, taking notes about what is said. They're going to be the opposite. The actual people or organizations or countries that are being represented, not the ones speaking, but the ones that the interlocutor is representing, they're also going to be the opposite. So it's kind of just everybody else. Everyone who's not representing someone is the opposite of an interlocutor. All right, so that is it for this word. Thank you for joining me.